Hi everyone, this week I'm going to be showing you guys how to play Happy Birthday on the guitar. This is a very easy song, so if you're an absolute beginner, that's not a problem. If you have a little bit more experience on the guitar, then you may already know all the tips and tricks that I go over in this video, but you are still more than welcome to play along with us. So a couple things I want to mention before we get started is the first thing, make sure your guitar is in tune. If it's not, then it might sound a little funky. So there's plenty of websites and apps on the App Store that you can get that'll just make sure that your guitar sounds the way it should. The second thing is don't get frustrated if you don't get everything right away. It took me a long time to play my first song, and it's definitely worth all of the practice because it's so much fun. So keep at it, keep practicing as much as you can. If while you're practicing you notice that the tips of your fingers are getting kind of sore, that's okay. That just means that your fingers aren't used to playing the strings. So you can practice as much as you want, but just know that if you practice a lot, then your fingers are going to get sore, and after a couple days your fingers will build up something called calluses. So you'll notice that the tips of your fingers get a little tougher than they were before, so that just means that it'll be easier for you to play after that. So once you build up those calluses, you'll be good to go. So before we get into actually playing the song, I need to teach you guys 3 chords. So a chord is when you put several different notes together. If you put a bunch of different notes together and you play them all at once, that is a chord. So we are going to learn G major, we are going to learn C major, and we're going to learn D major. Those are very easy chords. So the first one that we have, G, looks like this. So we have this string in the bottom, that's going to be the first string. So we have the first string, the second string, the third string, the fourth string, the fifth string, and the sixth string. So a G, so on the 3rd fret up, which is right here, so you go 1, 2, 3, you're going to take your second finger, this one right here, and you're going to put it on the 3rd fret on the 6th string, this one right here. Then you're going to take your first finger, your pointer finger, and you're going to put it on the 2nd fret of the 5th string. Now, these 2 fingers back here, you're going to take this finger and you're going to put it on the 3rd fret, so the same one as this one right here, all the way down here, on the 1st string. Everything else, you just leave the way it is. So again, second finger on the 3rd fret of the 6th string, this one on the top. First finger, your pointer finger, on the 2nd fret of the 5th string. And your 3rd finger, which is this one, your ring finger, is gonna go on the 3rd fret on the 1st string, which is the bottom one. It's gonna sound like this. So now that we have the G, a little trick, if your hands don't quite fit over the fretboard, this is what this is called if you have smaller hands or if you're still pretty young. Another way that you can do it is just lift up your 2 fingers. You're going to take this 3rd finger right here and you're going to put it right here. So that's the 3rd fret on the 1st string, the very bottom one. And instead of playing all of the strings, you're just going to play the bottom 3. So pretend like these top ones don't exist. These bottom 3, it's the same thing as a G chord, it's just a little bit smaller, and so that way if your hands can't quite reach all the notes, you can still play it along. So the second chord that we're going to learn is called the C chord, or C major. So it looks like this. You're going to take your 3rd finger right here, and on the 5th string, so the 2nd to the top, you're going to play the 3rd fret right here. Then your 2nd finger, this one right here, is going to play the 2nd fret on the 4th string, right here. This string right here. Then your pointer finger, your first finger, is going to play the 1st fret on the 2nd string. So you're going to skip the 3rd string altogether. So that's the 2nd to bottom, and it's going to go on the 1st fret, so right here. And it's going to sound like this. Again, if you have smaller hands and this is really difficult for you, you can just take your first finger and put it on the 1st fret of the 2nd string. And again, only play the bottom 3 strings. So you're gonna leave those top 3 out of the picture altogether. So it's gonna sound like this. So you either have or, they sound the same, and this way, if you have smaller hands, you can still easily play it. The last chord that we're gonna learn is a little trickier than the first two if you're playing with only one finger. So it's called the D chord, or the D major. It's the same thing. It looks like this. So you have your first finger, this pointer finger, on the second fret on the third string. So the third, right here, your first finger goes on the second fret. Then your third finger, this is really important. You're gonna skip your second finger for now. Your third finger is gonna go on the third fret of the second string. So the second from the bottom, this one all the way down here, it's gonna go on the third string. Now you're gonna use that second finger and you're gonna put it on the second fret, so second fret down on the first string, all the way down here. So this one's gonna sound like this. So this one, you are gonna need all three. So if you were playing with one finger before, if you were playing with those one finger modified chords, this one might be a little bit trickier for you, but again, just practice it as much as you can and you'll get it. So now we have G, or if you have smaller hands, G, C, or again, if you're using one chord, C, and we have D. And those are the only three chords that you need so far. So as you're practicing, you're gonna notice that it is really hard to switch between the chords really fast. That just requires a lot of practice. The more you practice it, the better you get. So just be patient with that. And so now let's get into the actual song. So now let's learn the chord progression. So the chord progression is just the order that we have to play the chords in order to get the full song. So I'll have a little picture right here so you guys can see what the order is. So it's G, D, D, G, G, C, G, D, G. Okay, so again, practice it a couple times. It may take a little while for you to get it. The switching between chords can be pretty tricky, but once you get it, you guys can just jump right in and sing along. So when you're playing, it is going to be really difficult to sing and play at the same time. So practice these chords first and then later on add in the singing, or you can have someone else sing while you play. That is also good if you want to play this for somebody on their birthday. That would be pretty fun. So it goes G, D, D, G, G, C, G, D, G, okay? And if you're playing with those modified chords, which means the simpler chords with one note, it's gonna sound like this. G, D, D, G, G, C, G, D, G. That's the easier version, and it also helps for those who have smaller hands. So now let's put it all together. We're gonna sing along and play at the same time. Again, if you're new to this, you might wanna wait to add the singing along and just play along right now. And then later on, once you get the chords down really good, you can sing yourself. So it goes like this. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Rex. Happy birthday to you. And that is the full song. So again, practice. You're gonna get really good after a while, but just stick with it, be patient, and you'll get it. All right. If this isn't your first time playing the guitar and you wanna add in some different strumming patterns and spice it up a little bit that way, that's perfectly fine. You can also use these chords in a bunch of other songs. So if you look up some easy guitar songs, I'm sure these chords will pop up. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to learn more guitar, especially if you're a beginner, there are a ton of good YouTube videos out there. I know one good channel, his name is Andy Guitar on YouTube. He does a lot of really good videos. So you guys can just stick with it, practice. It's gonna take a little while for you to get it, but that's okay. That's how you get good at stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I hope to see you guys soon.